Hey, my friends, this is Tracy. I'm sitting here in a truck stop waiting for a load to get ready so I can leave, and wanted to jump on here and talk about a couple things. Again, I hate to beat this to death, but I want to talk again about what I'm seeing happening with our food supply across our nation. California's had 9,000 acres burned. Right now it's up in Napa Valley tonight as we speak, burning vineyards and fruit orchards and, all of that. Was up north, destroyed corn crops, soybean, and a lot of crops up in Iowa, and a lot of those northern states, multiple states up there. And then we have the East Coast that's gotten pounded by bad storms. And I've talked before about weather manipulation and how the government is capable of that. The World Forum did an article. It came out about 3 years ago about China having using HARP as weather technology, and that they spent millions to develop it. They've had it longer than that, but they admitted it 3 years ago. And then look at what just happened to China, the flooding waist deep. And look at Saudi Arabia, the flooding that they had in the middle of the desert. This government's using this as weapons. Look at China, they're a dictatorship. And they're perpetrating that on their people. And I believe that's happening here. I believe that they're trying to take out, just like we saw in COVID, how they put a lot of farmers out. As part of Agenda 21 and 30, that they take farmers out and they put them in subsidized living, high-rise living, box type living. They don't want people in certain lands, and they have a map of those lands, and many places are clear, because they want to rid the population, number one, and they want people off natural lands, and they want to control the food, and so they've made large conglomerates of mergers. And it's weird because those conglomerates keep their name. I know with my company, we own many other companies. We're a food company. We own many other companies. But the companies still have their name. So you're under the impression that you're buying from this certain company, and my company owns that company. And it's not just my company. I mean, it's a large Illuminati food companies that have all merged together to control our food supply. And then they use weather manipulation, HARP, to knock out farmers' lands. It's happening all over the country at a crazy rate right now, friends. And they're burning wildlife so that people can't hunt. They're killing wildlife. I mean, Satan is evil. He'll take out every single thing with him, but they're trying to get it down to where we can't hunt. They even put out an article saying they don't think it's going to be long, the UN, that animals will start carrying disease and not be able to be edible. Just crap like that, the lies that they tell. Excuse me. And so we know that come this fall is when they're planning, because they've said it, starting in October, they talk about it as another round of COVID, but that's when they're planning on throwing it all at us, guys. And, they're going to blame all these disasters for food loss, and they're going to pull back the food. See, we saw them pulling back cleaning supplies, toilet paper, and certain foods, and baby foods even, and stuff like that. But they're going to pull back on us being able to find food. Every communist government does it. Every communist government does it. And, it's a known fact, this isn't a conspiracy theory, that they can do this with the weather. HARP can even cause earthquakes, the low resonant waves. And look at the earthquakes that we've been having. We had an earthquake in Iowa. We've got earthquakes all over the map right now. In places, how the Bible says diverse places, that's where we're having them, in diverse places. And but they're man-made. It's man-made. And I talked about on Facebook a while back how where I live, anytime that I look at the radar above the Air Force Base, when we're having 80 mile an hour winds and hail and, terrible storms, a lot of times there's a big circle, a vacant circle that shows up on the radar. So, you can tell that they've turned HARP on. A lot of the bases have it. HARP is even in mobile now. So between that and cloud seeding, they can create some hellacious storms. But Saudi Arabia and the desert flooding, I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous. The California fires, they've got some type of laser that does that because it was skipping trees, skipping homes, and just hitting, certain homes and burning to 3,500 degrees. I mean, normal fires don't burn brick and rock and stuff like that. I mean, they've got some type of laser to do that. And the Bible tells us that, it's going to be just, when the world starts getting destroyed this time, it'll be destroyed by fires. It's going to be a lot of fires. But I just want to point out how I'm really seeing just all over the map how they're destroying our food supplies and everything that farmers have worked for. And this isn't natural kind of stuff like the flooding we had in Nebraska last year. They're taking out farmers. They're putting them out of business. Left and right. They're losing everything they have. And that's what they want. They want to do that. And so when it comes to us relying on the controlled food supply, they can pull it back however they want. They'll have total control over it. I've seen some videos of Russia. My goodness, when they, became communist, and people would go in the supermarket and there'd be 2 pieces there and they'd be rotten. And it showed a video of this lady smelling the rotten meat and ended up taking it. It was really, really sad. Venezuela, after they became communist, they turn off their power. They have no food. And why? They're an oil country. Why don't they have any food? You can't tell me that they can't afford food, but that's what communist governments do. And really, let me take that back. It's what Satanist governments do. I don't even want to use the word communist. We use that, but actually what it is Satanist governments, and so much of what's happening now is what happened in Germany. They pulled back the food supply. People were starving. People were knocking on other people's doors trying to survive. People were starving. The government was controlling the food supply. They got rid of their police force. Just so many things that are happening right now as the government's turning, and I'm going to say is satanic. It's the things that they perpetrate on their own people. And that's what's happening, my friends. And it's getting ready to hit the fan. So water is really, really important to try to get a rain barrel to catch your water, or, even just a 55-gallon water-safe drum, food-safe drum. A person drinks and uses with bathing and everything, you can get by on a gallon a day. So one drum would last almost 2 months for one person. Now, if you can't do that, then I would suggest a rain barrel. To catch your water, you can put a certain amount of drops of bleach in there and it will purify it. So, a rain barrel would be good as well. And as many jugs of water as you can. When you empty Pepsi bottles or water bottles or, anything like that, any type of bottles, put some water in it, stick it, inside. So don't put it outside in the garage, but stick it somewhere in a closet and, just store you some water. It has enough chlorine in it. Really, you don't have to worry even about treating it because the sink water is so full of chlorine. Now, if you use a filtered water, then you might want to put so many drops to however much, water you're saving. And I can't remember the ratio to that right now. But anyway, friends, I would just say put back what you can. With the vaccine out, I don't doubt that in order to go to a grocery, we're going to have proof of the vaccine. So just do the best you can to put back what you can. When you go to the grocery, buy, between now and October, buy 10 boxes of macaroni, buy 10 noodle soups, that kind of thing. And I'm sorry that I keep harping on this, but I just keep seeing it coming. Every time I look at the news, I see farmers being destroyed. They're just being destroyed all over our nation. And it's so sad, my friends. Our food supply is just being destroyed. You might want to think about having sandbags so that, you can put them around your doors. Because I know they run low on them sometimes during flooding. They're hard to get. You may want to think about, call me crazy. I mean, I don't know. But you may want to think about a way to float around if we get flooded. You want to think about candles, heating, way to cook food. You want to think about gasoline and try to keep your car full. You want to think about a way to get out of your home, having a backpack with enough stuff in it to stay safe if something happens to your home. It's just something that you can carry on your person and grab and go in an emergency. And I'm not saying any of this to scare. I'm just saying that the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be. You may have to take off and leave your food supply, because that kind of stuff is heavy. You may just have to take off with your backpack and your tent and fishing pole, those type of things. It may just be about trying to survive with, what you can carry. And, a backpack may be it. I try to keep one ready to go. My friends, I've studied Agenda 21 and 30 for so many years that I understand what they're trying to do with this. And what's happening now in the world is Agenda 21. And we're coming up on the year 2021, and they have a lot planned for that. And one of the big plans is getting people off of farms, knocking ranchers out and putting them in, like I said before, putting them in subsidized living. So I see it happening, and it's a United Nations plan, and it's in play now as we speak. We've already crossed that threshold, my friends, and there's not any turning back at this point. So it's going to be survival of the fittest. So my suggestion is to get things prepared as much as possible, and it truly might help you. This isn't conspiracy, my friends. This is the Bible, and we're in very prophetic times. That's all, my friends. Love you.